And hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. It's Will. I'm joined by Aramis. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Just getting a level on you, too. I always mean to look at that before I look at that, and then I forget to look at that. So, all right. We are here. We've got people hopping into the stream. This is awesome. Got a good show tonight. Obviously, we're talking the big news everybody wants to talk about. We're going to have Innistrad Previews. We have a full show. In fact, we probably should just get to it. Okay, I'm lit well, and I have alcohol. I don't have beer because the only beer I have is a 14%er. And, well, I like how the show runs, and I'd like us not to sound like blubbering idiots. Okay, I'd like me not to sound like a blubbering idiot by the end of it. Pull up this real quick, and then we're good to go. Okay. All right, do you have red button action?
Hang on. Yes.
Okay, me too. All right, I guess we should get on with this then.
Sure.
All right, so we've got previews. No combat, obviously. We never going to have time for combat tonight. All right, let's hit this thing. So, mouse over the red button. 3, 2, 1. Click. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the PlanesTalkers podcast, the show by casuals for casuals. I'm your host, Will Benson, joined as always by my, hey, it's Labor Day, but I don't have to go into labor today, co-host Aramis Perez. Aramis, sir, how are you?
I never have to go in for labor. It's really nice.
Isn't it nice? I love it. It's so much greatness. And let's just get right into all right, untap, upkeep, and draw. Before we get started tonight, we'd like to remind you that this episode and every episode of the PlanesTalkers podcast is brought to you by Kerwin's Game Store. Kerwin's Game Store is New York State's premier source for collectible card games, tabletop games, miniatures, comic books, retro, video games, and toys. With their clean, open gaming areas available to everyone, Kerwin's provides a fun and inviting atmosphere for new and experienced gamers alike. With locations in both Catskill, New York, and now on the second floor of the Poughkeepsie Gallery in Poughkeepsie, New York, Kerwin's Game Store is 100% the best place to go for gaming. Now, they have a wonderful website, so if you can't get to one of those two locations, you can go to KGS Online. That's Kite Go Samuel. Well, it stands for Kerwin's Game Store, online.com. And if you use the promo code PlanesTalkers at checkout, you'll get 5% off your online order. And it lets them know you like us. If you go there in person, make sure you mention that you heard about them through this show, please. It does help. We also want to take a second to recognize our rare level patrons: Steve, Spencer, Chiba Tank, Nurse Gamer VJ, Bell, Josh, Jonathan, George, David, Anthony, and Dragon D's Nuts. We also want to shout out our mythic rare patrons, Jake, Jonathan, and Imagine Dragon the... I get this wrong every week because it's so damn long. Imagine Dragon these across your face. I just love it. It's original. And we can't forget our producer-level patrons, both Jamie and Johnny. Listen, these people do so much to help us out. We couldn't do this show anymore without them. It's really been an incredible help for us. We're able to do a lot better quality and a lot more shows. To find out more about it, go to patreon.com/planestalkers. The biggest thing that you get is first dibs on Wednesday night Commander Craft. Commander Craft is our Wednesday night playcast where we use webcams to play 4-person Commander with 2 listeners. So this week, we don't have any takers yet, Aramis. I don't know why.
I have no idea why they wouldn't want to play against your deck.
I don't understand what anyone would have against this deck. This deck is a perfectly viable deck, and it had a perfectly viable win con. But we still have 2 open slots for patrons. If not, tomorrow morning, I'll come into the main Discord and announce that we have open slots. So to find out more, to get one of those slots, just become a patron. Again, patreon.com/planestalkers, though it is open to anyone, but patrons get first dibs. As well, we want to announce that we are proud to be the flagship podcast for the Planestalker Network of Podcast. Our sister show Cantrip Cartel has launched. They are on Anchor. They're having a great time. They've got about 150 listeners already in 2 weeks, which is great. They're on Anchor at anchor.fm/Cantrip Cartel. You can also find them on almost every podcatcher except Apple. I have to talk to them about that because I think they're missing. You're missing a bit of an audience. I mean, things are moving to Spotify, but people aren't out of Apple yet. So, we're going to talk to them about trying to help get them into the Apple. But download them on most podcatchers, like we said. Hit them up. They're on our Discord. They have their own separate area right in our Discord. And you can find that at discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. Finally, we're still keeping the survey open for another couple of weeks. We really, really, really need opinions, guys. We want to know what we're doing right. We want to know how we can improve. Go to survey.planestalkerspodcast.com. Just fill it out. It's just a simple Google form. You don't have to leave any of your information if you don't want to. Put in the comments if you want us to email you back for anything. But that's pretty much it. But we're still in untap, and I am untapping. I feel like I'm losing a man card. This is a man card moment tonight. I have a 14% beer, but I feel that it's inappropriate me to drink 14% beer while doing a show. So instead, I'm drinking one of my son's Seagram's Escapes Black Cherry Fizz. So,
I mean, I drink water. So
yeah, I know, but I like
soda.
Yeah, I'm out of soda too, and that's just it. You know what? These are not bad. And, I like having a little bit of, adult beverages while I'm doing this. So, but sir, Aramis, we're still in Untap. How the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Been a busy weekend. Only just within the last 10 minutes really got a chance to see all the cards that got previewed over the last few days. So I kind of have glossed over them quickly. I'm sure I've missed a couple of ridiculous things, but yeah.
Well, I think we'll talk about this during the main. I think the power level has gone down. I think they have dialed things back a little bit, and it's going to make Standard better in the long run. I'm still surprised we haven't seen the card yet. We're expecting for the land. I forget what it is. It's basically going to target non-basics, but it's not
Field of Ruin.
Not Field of Ruin, but there's the other one that they talk about in Innistrad. Starts with a T, I think, or
Close Quarter. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Close Quarter. It might be Close Quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, that destroys any land.
Yeah,
not just non-basics.
Right. So I'm Ghost Quarter was what I'm thinking. We're still waiting on that one. But I mean, my God, we're only 2 weeks out from freaking release at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already pre-order?
Pre-release is next weekend.
Did you pre-order yet or no?
I have not pre-ordered yet. I didn't know that I could.
Nor have I.
I mean, I'm not sure what I would pre-order. I'm not sure yet. There's some good stuff in here.
Yeah, I'm just not sure that they're. Again, I don't think they're enticing us enough to go for the collectors yet. I mean, obviously I'm gonna get a set booster box, but yeah, I had a pretty quiet weekend. Again, non-kid weekend, so I did a lot around the house. I had to do a lot of things. My wife is painting the studio. Oh wow, Kyle's going to 2 pre-releases. Salute, my friend. That'll get you a good amount of cards. Yeah, I
want to go to a pre-release, but I don't feel comfortable right now.
The Delta variant's getting way too high, and I'm thinking the same thing. Especially, and this is not a slam on it. You know what? Catskill is pretty remote, so 9 times out of 10 you start to wonder how many hillbillies you might have. And I'm not meaning to get political here, but how many people that might be disavowing vaccinations and things like that. Catskill's not one of them. They're a pretty progressive area of the state, but still I'm just like
The vaccination rate here is still pretty low, all things considered.
So I'm probably also not going to do it. I mean, I've thought about doing maybe going to bonds. I have to see how Wendy feels about it too. I mean,
I might just pick up a kit.
Yeah, of course we'll pick up. Should we do our pre-release? Maybe we'll do our pre-release night.
That might be what we have to do.
Yeah. I don't know how we'd get anybody else involved, though. That's the problem. We'd have to play Two-Headed Giant. Right? Yeah, I know. It's like... we could talk offline. But, so, I mean, this week's just been... It's nice. I'm loving the 3-day weekend. The kids are gone. We got a little bit done around the house. Kind of getting ready for the fall. Wife's painting her studio, and she was fighting a pretty bad cold, and it's a cold. It's not COVID. I was a little disappointed. Bama, hey, shout out to Bama. I know he's listening. We were supposed to do D&D on Sunday, but he might have caught himself the Rona. So he kind of called off, which, again, I'm kind of like, dude, you're in Alabama. I mean, I ain't going to get no computer virus. But he was actually legitimately sick. But shout out to him, man. Get better, please. But, for the most part, it was pretty awesome and quiet. It's nice to get paid. The show is packed tonight, dude. It's a pre-release show, so this always kind of happens with us on pre-release. Main one tonight, we're going to go right into upkeep. Main one is we're going to basically forego the state of standard, because the state of standard is we're all just fucking waiting for Innistrad.
It's irrelevant for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's like a lame duck president but one who isn't going to incite a riot. So we're going to forego that and instead go into Innistrad Previews. We're going to talk overall about the set. They had their little lame. Did you catch the broadcast?
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad as it's been.
Listen, I love Joe Manganiello. I do. I think he's awesome. He's one hell of an actor. He did carry a bit of it, but it was still like, you could tell like he's like, really? This is what you want me to do? This seems lame and jive. And he's like too cool. I'm like looking at him going, dude, you're Deathstroke, for God's sake. But overall, it wasn't horrible. But we're going to go through the mechanics of the set, both returning a little bit and new ones. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about the land base, and then we'll get right into card previews. We're only doing 3 apiece tonight. Obviously, because we want to make sure we leave ourselves enough time to talk about the winner box. We do have a winner, and we want to talk about how you can win a box of Innistrad Midnight Hunt Dawn. Yeah. Midnight Dawn Hunt. Hunt. Right. Okay. So with that, why don't we get right into main?
Main phase.
All right, main phase. So, as we mentioned, all right, Innistrad Midnight Hunt is coming. It's going to be releasing a week from Friday, I think, right?
The pre-release is a week from Friday. The set release is the week after that.
Right. So, which means it will show up in a week from Wednesday in Arena? Thursday? I think they pushed it back to Thursday now. It used to be Tuesday. It used to come out on a Tuesday. I think that's part of why they undid the whole, like, we're going to let you guys stream the pre-releases and stuff, is because they were like, this way we don't have to release on Tuesday. We can release on Thursday. So, and again, no doubt to try to encourage us not to figure out the format, before release, which we will anyway. But so they had their event on Twitch last week, and Jimmy Wong was on it, and he was again just, he was laming up the joint. And I understand what it is, and it was shorter than normal. I think because they had just done one a week earlier with the roadmap, that they were kind of like dialing it down a little bit. Because I seem to remember this used to be like all in one. They would have this and then go into card previews, right?
I really don't remember. They've changed it so many times.
Right. So they went through that, and they kind of went through, and it was a very large bird's eye view. For once, they didn't spoil a ton of stuff. And in fact, I thought they weren't very good about explaining certain mechanics, like day and night. Like, they told us it existed, and Disturb even worse. They told us they existed, but they didn't really say how it works.
Well, Disturb is pretty self-explanatory. Disturb is pretty obvious. I'm a little confused about Daybound and Nightbound, but I've been reading a little more while you've been talking, and now it makes sense to me.
Right. So that let's kind of get into that a little bit. So there's an article on Wizards if you want to follow along, but it's pretty much talking about the transform mechanic is kind of where day and night is going to ride. So there's like 3 new ones. There's day and night, Disturb, and Covet. Now, they also have Flashback, of course, because that's an Innistrad staple. What else do they got? It's kind of like, it's pretty much Flashback.
I think there's also other things that transform regularly.
Right. So, but they're using the day and night to kind of mass transform, I guess, would be the best word.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of how I interpreted it. Is that, and what it is basically it's about, you have two modes. You'll have two modes. Like everything starts in day mode, I think, or whatever mode it comes in as. I don't think any cards come in night mode, do they?
There could be ways for a night bound permanent to be the first one to enter if day and night haven't been established yet.
Right.
But they said under most circumstances, when you cast a card with either day bound or night bound, it's going to be on its day side.
Mm-hmm. Unless we're already in night mode. Right. If we cast something with night bound, then it's the night side. As I understood it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been selected day or night yet, when something with one of those either day bound or night bound enters the battlefield, it'll become whatever it is.
Right.
It'll typically be day.
Right.
Most cases. So things with day bound, it's basically like the way that it works is the same way that the transform mechanic works normally.
Right.
If a player doesn't cast any spells during their own turn, it becomes night.
Yeah, that particular transform. Yeah.
Right. And then at night, if a player casts 2 spells during their turn, it becomes day.
And there were a lot of transform cards that did that. So yeah, I get it.
Right. So now there's a word that basically explains that
right.
There is that, but they're not changing the old cards to have day bound and night bound because day bound and night bound work slightly differently than transform normally.
Right, because again, if you're in night mode and somebody casts a spell and it has day and night, it'll come in as night. Correct?
Yeah. I think that this is the thing. It's like it's not.
If it's night, each of them will enter night bound face up. It says.
So I think the biggest difference is that if it's with the old transform cards, you would always cast them as their non-transformed side.
Right. You would always cast it as the human. If it was
and
it looks
like with these ones, if you're casting a daybound card, it'll enter the battlefield on whatever side is relevant to what time of day it is.
Right.
And they can't change back and they can't transform any other way.
And it's always day until one of these cards enters, and then kind of like City's Blessing, it starts the clock.
Well, yeah, if it hasn't done anything yet, 9 times out of 10 when you cast one of these cards, it's going to turn into daytime.
Right.
And then it won't trigger the transformation because you've already cast a spell. So during the next player's turn, if they don't cast anything, then it would become night.
Right.
And then everything that with daybound would transform into its night until its transformed side, and almost all of those, I think, they all have nightbound.
So basically, clear as mud.
It's a little less intuitive, I feel like, than the original transform mechanic. But then again,
incredibly less intuitive.
But I wasn't around during the original Innistrad blocks, either the first 2, so I haven't really been exposed to it too much. I feel like once we actually sit down and play with it, it'll be like, oh, okay, this is fine. It's not a big deal.
I gotta tell you, in Commander though, this could go sideways. Yes, I'm going to transform my thing to Nightbound, and then the next guy's going, pass turn. Fuck.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Well, you have to cast 2 spells,
right, to keep it
because there's going to be a helper card, which I think is actually really cool. So it's a double-sided card, so it actually corresponds perfectly to daytime and nighttime. So if you cast a daybound permanent, you basically put that out. Yeah, it's like the dungeons or a planeswalker emblem. It's outside the game and the City's Blessing, and it basically marks what it is. And then if everything flips over, okay, it becomes night, and then it explains what that means.
Right. So this will be interesting.
If it's nighttime and you're casting a daybound permanent, or you're casting a card that has daybound and it's nighttime, it'll enter the battlefield
on its night
transformed side.
Right.
So that's a way to get transformed cards into play transformed, but they still follow the regular rules of transformed cards where they still have the mana value of the front faced card. It's not like the MDFCs or split cards.
And they kind of call Moon Mist out.
They did.
I love that. They're like, no. There's a reason we call it bound. I do think I like this. I like the idea that everything transforms on the battlefield. On every player's thing, it's day or night.
Only if it's daybound or nightbound.
Right.
If it's a regular transforming thing, it's not going to necessarily. It won't necessarily be affected by that. Although 9 times out of 10, a lot of the cards that transform without the daybound nightbound mechanic have the same criteria to transform as other cards with daybound and nightbound. So it's not like you're doing two different things. There's going to be some cards that transform under different circumstances, but for the most part, it's going to be the same thing. If you don't cast a spell during your turn, it flips over. If you cast 2 spells, it flips back.
Exactly. So
it makes sense from a larger perspective, but when you first look at it by itself, you're like, wait, okay, so it does this, but then it does. Oh, wait, but then okay, but I think the more I'm looking at it, it's like it just took a couple extra seconds to really grok for me.
Right.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out if we can deal with, mutate and everything else. This is not as hard as that.
Well, nothing's as hard as mutate.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, mutate was all right. So I'm kind of down with it. Don't have a lot of choice, but I think this will be interesting. Like I said, Commander, this could go a little sideways, but I'm kind of digging that a little bit.
Again, because it works the same way as Transform did before. Now there's just a keyword associated with it and helper cards. It's going to be the same. It might just mean you'll see more of them.
Right. And then the next new mechanic they talk about, which again in the Twitch stream, they just had no idea what the frack they were talking about.
I thought they did a good job.
Disturb. I didn't, because they were like, if it's disturbed, it dies and then it comes back and then it doesn't do that. I'm like, wait, what? So
it's flashback for creatures basically.
Right.
That's all it is. The creature with disturb, and the example they have up on the website on the story is Bait Hook Angler.
Right.
It's a 2/1 for 1 and a blue. Doesn't do anything else. It has disturb of 1 and a blue. So it says you may cast this card from your graveyard transformed for its disturb cost.
Right. Now I get that. In the Twitch stream, though, it seemed like it would have 1 turn. It almost seemed like what the sliver there I have does, like where it would bring it out for 1 turn. You have it 1 turn and then it dies and it gets exiled. I'm like, well, that makes no fucking sense.
That's not. Yeah, no. It's just with almost all of the disturb cards that I've seen so far is that what you're thinking of is because they're saying if it would die or go to the graveyard from anywhere, it gets exiled instead. Right. So basically, it really is flashback for creatures.
It's flashback for creatures, yes, and I'm down with that.
That's what happens to a flashback instant or sorcery. Once you flash it back, it gets exiled.
Right.
The difference here is that it's a permanent, so it sticks around until something kills it.
Right.
So basically, all of these cards basically force your opponent to have 2 spells to remove it.
Right.
Which I think is good, and it'll be a matter of, are any of these cards good enough to break through and make it worthwhile? Because I imagine that they're not all going to have the same cost as its original cost. I imagine that they're, for the most part, it'll be more expensive.
Exactly. It's definitely an interesting idea. It does seem like flat. Now that I understand it, it makes a lot more sense. I definitely see this going. It's obvious here they're trying to work they're trying to pull us back a little bit more to tribal, I think, which I'm okay with every couple of sets, because we can go a little sideways for a while, and I like seeing a little bit of tribal happening. But it's most of the disturb cards, it's like a blue and a black mechanic, pretty much, isn't it? I mean,
I think there's white.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Because
I'd have to look and see, but there's one that's white blue.
Okay. So again, it's kind of Esper style. So
there's
I'm cool.
One here that's white.
Do they have any red disturb? Yeah, it's not something.
I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't really scrolled through as much.
Yeah.
There's flashback in red and blue. There's
right. They tend to be more spelly than. Yeah.
So I think
Corpse Cabal is blue and black.
Yeah, it might just be an Esper type thing, but
which seems
definitely
appropriate.
It's in mono white for sure.
Oh, flashback, yeah, green black.
Yeah, it's in mono white for sure because there's a mono white one called Beloved Beggar.
Right.
0/4 for 2. The disturb is 6 mana, but for the 6 mana you get a Sarah Angel. You get a 4/4 flying vigilant spirit. Slightly overcosted, but the fact that you're casting it from your graveyard, I think, makes up for that. So it's decent.
It's decent. I think this will be okay. I don't think it's going to be horrible. Yeah, and that's just it. It's like I said earlier. It seems a lot like, they have kind of dialed the set. We'll get into this in the previews a little bit. They dialed it down a little bit, and I'm again totally happy with that. Once these 4 sets get out of standard, this could be one of the more powerful of the sets. But I don't think it'll be the main one. I think Kaldheim and Strixhaven may fall into their spots. But I'm definitely looking forward to this mechanic. It's a good mechanic. It's appropriate. It's flavorful for this realm. As is the next one. So the final one, and again, this was also kind of confusing for me, was Coven. Because I didn't realize when they said power, I was thinking like superpower, like pew, pew, pew. I'm like, so keywords. And I know now they were talking power of the thing. Yeah. Okay. Coven might work very well in a sliver deck. I'm just saying.
Everything works well in sliver decks. They have all the abilities. Coven is, it's obviously a creature-based mechanic.
Right.
I think it's probably one of the weakest of the new ones because you need to have so many different creatures floating around. You need to really build around Coven for it to work.
Right.
Some of the abilities are fairly strong, but I don't know. This seems to be like the good limited mechanic. This is the one because your creatures are going to be a little more all over the place.
Right.
This seems to be the one where you're like, okay, if I open a certain number of cards with Coven, and I can sort of work around that. I think it tends to be mostly in green and white that
it
shows
does
up.
look like that. Yes.
So, that tells you it's going to be like go wide,
Tokens.
go tall,
Yeah.
tokens, auras, equipment, that type of thing. So it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
But I think you're right.
Definitely,
it's a limited format type of thing.
Yeah,
because
between.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say between flashback and disturb and all the other stuff, I feel like it's the bottom of the poll, but that's just somebody has to be there.
Right, because think about it. In Constructed, okay, 60 card deck, you may have. All right, so you're supposed to have what, 24 lands, so that leaves 36. Spells. You got to figure only 20 of those are creatures, maybe. Okay, so that's only 5 different types of creatures. So the most you're going to get here,
Well, unless you're playing like 3 ofs or 2 ofs of certain
right,
things.
exactly.
Or
but for the most part, you're not.
Yeah.
You're playing. You're pulling full play sets.
If you're playing Coven though as a constructed mechanic, you're going to have cards that can alter their powers by themselves.
Right.
Things that can give themselves pluses to power, or other cards that can give them plus to power. So, or like I said, equipments or auras. So you're going to have ways to change around the numbers that are on the field to trigger Coven. And green and white are both the colors that really excel in that. So it would work in that respect. It's just the support needs to be there. This seems to be the most I don't want to say parasitic, but this seems to be the one that needs the most work to be good.
Right. I don't disagree. So those are kind of the 3 new mechanics. The old ones are obviously flashback is back, thank God. And I think transform, really.
Regular transform, yeah.
I'm not seeing too many other, at least yet.
Curses are back.
Curses are back, yeah. Well, that's not really a mechanic so much as a card type, I always thought.
No, but it doesn't really tend to show up in too many other places.
Right. So, it's definitely this set overall is looking appropriate for what we've had the last 4 sets. It's going to fit in very nicely with the last 4 sets. I think this is I think we're on the verge of a very good standard. I do think rogues are still going to be a problem. I won't be surprised if we have to see something happen in rogues, because I think rogues might take over for a while. But there's some pretty good stuff here, and
rogues loses a lot of stuff on rotation.
Not as much as you think.
Loses the 1-drop from Corset.
Right, but it still has Ruin Crab. It still has, I
don't think it'll be necessarily rogues at that point, though. It might just be mill, not rogues.
Yeah. But, overall, I can't really argue with this. So, I love the Falcon Wrath League Fighter. That looks kind of fun. But, yeah. what I'm really excited about, okay, because here's the thing. We wanted to talk about, too. We brought this up before. They did kind of release what they're doing with the lands. We are going to get a set of dual lands. Not dual lands, but lands that tap for 2 mana. They're not shock lands. They're kind of like super... I want to call these almost like super check lands.
They're like the...
Hey, Dragon King.
They're like the reverse of the lands from Kaladesh. Are they the fast lands? The ones that like the Inspiring Vantage and
right.
Blossoming Marsh.
They check and you come in untapped if you have 2 or more, basically.
Fewer other
right,
lands.
2 or fewer lands. Well, no, there's still check lands that say, yeah, it's kind of like a super. That's what I mean. It's kind of like a super land in that it's like.
Well, yeah, it's the reverse. It's the reverse of those lands. So these
but it's
ones,
also non-basic. It's using non-basics.
They don't care. Yeah,
right.
They don't care. So these ones enter untapped if you have 2 or more other lands.
And I like that. I like these, and they're in the what? These are the allied colors, aren't they? It looks like
they're in the allied colors. So as long as you're dropping, like if you're dropping lands on curve, and as long as these come in turn 3 or later, or this is your 3rd land or later, they'll come in untapped, which is nice, and there's no other penalty for it. So, these are really good. These are really good duels. They don't always come in untapped. There's going to be times where you have to play them tapped.
And they're not named lands. They're not fetchable. So it's not like,
they're not fetchable.
But they're what you need in standard. I mean, we're losing triomes. Okay, we're losing. I mean, we're not losing pathways, thank God, yet. But we're losing triomes, and these will survive for 2 years. So obviously, these are going to be meant to kind of replace the pathways.
And hopefully that means that the enemy colored ones show up too.
I think, when the enemy colors will show up, Crimson Vow.
Maybe.
Yeah. It makes sense. Then they don't have to make another mechanic. Then they're like, hey, as it is, I mean, we could talk about that a little bit. I think some of this stuff is just going to carry over into Crimson Vow. I don't think they're going to make too many new mechanics. Like the day-night side works for vampires. And in fact, I think the day side weakens vampires. Oh, yeah. Like,
well, I mean,
I want to see a card that says, if it turns to day, destroy all vampires.
Well, that would be... That's I think that's a little extreme. But
it's flavor.
It is flavor, but I think the day night thing, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Like you said, if it showed up in Crimson Vow, there's going to be other stuff that shows up that's new for sure.
And you're not wrong about the Snarllands Dragon.
That'll be hard to finish though, because the Snarls that's kind of a Strixhaven specific thing. And you can't really call them snarls if they're not on Strixhaven.
Right.
It's like the triomes on
Ikoria.
On Ikoria. If they do triomes,
they could do it in a core set if they ever went back to core sets, but they can't.
I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to happen on New Capenna. Because those are allied colored 3-color groups wedges, that are going to be happening. The wedges are going to be there for that, and it makes the most sense for it to show up there.
I think
it will.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I think they may want to bring those back. Do we lose Fabled Passage?
We lose Fabled Passage.
Jesus. I mean, guys, think of it this way. To be quite honest, we're losing quite a bit here. Shock.
The man is going to be worse.
Shock is gone for the first time in I don't know how long. Now, granted, we have
something way better.
Yeah, we have Super Shock and Super Opt, but Shock and Opt, like.
Hey, I'm still saying that Lightning Bolt should be there somewhere. So.
Oh, I totally agree with Lightning Bolt. Everybody says the same thing. I don't think there's any player of Magic, any player of Standard, who's like, why don't we have Lightning Bolt? But because they won't even put the damn thing in Historic, it's a long shot. I hate it. I completely disagree with the idea. It's a long shot, though. They won't even put the damn thing in Historic. And that would have been the time to test it.
Mm-hmm. Same with Counterspell.
Yeah. You're not wrong on that one. Yeah, I'm really, so far I'm liking the flavor of what we're seeing here and how it's going. But, let's get into some of the cards. I mean, again, the land base, I'm glad they're fixing it. I am. It's not so much fixing it, but I mean, obviously, yeah, we need the Ghost Quarters or we need a Field of Ruin. Otherwise, holy shit. Welcome to Codex, every deck. So yeah, please, dear Lord. But let's talk a little bit about some cards here. So Aramis and I both picked out 3 cards apiece. Next week we might try to get back to 4, but we knew we were going to talk a little bit about, stuff like this. So let's kind of get into that a little bit. So the first one we're going to talk about, this is yours, Aramis. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it?
All right. So the first card I'm going to talk about, I'm going to sort of take a little pivot away from standard. I'm going to talk a little commander here. Augur of Autumn is the card I'm going to talk about today. First one anyway. So it is a rare from the set. It's a 2/3 for 1 and 2 green. It's a human druid. And this kind of fills a lot of different holes. Not really
quite
holes,
a few.
There's a different slots that this could fit into as far as building green decks. So it has 3 abilities. You may look at the top card over your library anytime. Always good to know what you're going to be drawing next. It's not being revealed like Oracle of Moldiah, so that's nice. You may play lands from the top of your library, so that's a little bit like, again, Oracle of Moldiah, or like the Rada Heir to Keld, cards like that, or even Courser of Krufix. And it also has the new Coven mechanic. As long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. So this allows you to sort of get a little bit of Azir in the Menagerie going, a little bit of the Realm Walker going, but also filter through some lands. So if you're playing like a creature-heavy deck in Commander, you can really sort of even slivers. You can rip through a lot of cards in your deck fairly quickly, and get through cards that you would otherwise not want to draw. I really like this card.
I do too. I think it's going to go in a lot of decks.
I think a lot of decks that have a lot of heavy green complement are probably going to be playing this, especially if you can't get a hold of an Oracle of Moldiah, which is still kind of expensive. It's $20-$30. So,
but this could still see play in standard because, again, it's green, and green, mono green is a thing. So,
maybe, yeah. No, it's not a bad card at all for standard, but I think Commander is where this one's really going to find a home. I think it's going to be a staple. It's going to be one of those cards you're going to be seeing plenty of this card going forward.
You mean to tell me that they're designing cards in standard these days for Commander? I had no idea. Omnath.
Yeah, that's my first card.
Yeah, I like that card. I like that it's a Coven card too. Again, I think that is going to be something that we might see. And if that's the keyword that he's talking may stick around a while, I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I like that. I mean, granted, I don't think you can do it anywhere else but Innistrad because Coven has a certain witchcraft type of connotation to it. But I could see that being, I wish that was almost an evergreen because it's a neat mechanic. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one kind of a lot of people are talking about when it came out last week. It's kind of like the most flavorful flavor card. It's the reason everything's happening. It's the Celestis. It's a legendary artifact for 3 colorless, and it says if it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as the Celestis enters the battlefield. So this triggers transformation stuff. And you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, so it's automatically a mana rock. You can tap 3 colorless and tap it. If it's a night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night, and you activate that only as a sorcery. So transform as a sorcery. And then it finally has an ability that says whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. First of all, Wizards, let's talk about writing. If this card, or if the day cycle transforms, you gain a life. You don't need that many words. My God, you're already writing novels on cards. I swear to God, the other day I got a card that said see next card.
I don't think there's really any way they really could have said that any more like abbreviated than what
whenever the day cycle changes, you gain 1 life.
Well, but then what about the night cycle?
Well, they could have just called it daytime cycle. They could have used a different word. It's like day becomes night or night becomes day. They should have just called it daytime cycle. Whatever.
Yeah, but then it's they have to have something there to reference the other way around when the night cycles as well.
Well, I mean, that's why that would have been just the cycle over, like call the whole thing overall like the daytime cycle or planetary cycle or moon cycle or day. I don't know, but there are ways that you didn't. That's a lot of text you don't need. They could have reworded it.
I don't think so. I think this is fine.
I love that it's a mana rock. First of all, that it's a mana rock for 3 is great. Usually, that's right around where the signets and stuff sit. Is what signets are usually 2.
Signets are 2.
Yeah,
You're
but like
thinking of,
Chromatic Lantern was 5. Now that
No,
did a lot of mana
Chromatic
fixing.
Lantern was 3.
I thought Chromatic Lantern
You're thinking
was
of
5.
Chromatic Orrery.
Yeah, Chromatic Orrery was 7.
But that also tapped for 5.
Yeah.
And that cost 7, tapped
Yeah.
for 5.
Still, holy shit, great card. I love that this is kind of, this here is going to make the transform mechanic. This is definitely going to help the daybound nightbound mechanic kick. I think this will be in a lot of decks going forward. I mean, granted, now here's the thing: we've got 2 sets of Innistrad, so we have 2 sets of transform, and then we have 6 sets after that till it rotates. So I think this will have a place for a while. But unlike Throne of Eldraine, which is very weird for us to have to sit here, because I mean we've been living in Eldraine so long, so we're used to like one set just dominating the format for 2 years. Like, this is kind of normal. Like, we're going to have this for a little while, and then Standard's going to shift. And hopefully, and especially once we get to I can't imagine once we get to Dominaria, shit don't shift. But I'm definitely, this might not even last past Kamigawa, the transformation mechanic. I mean, who knows what happens, but I like this card. I definitely think it's worthwhile. What about you?
I mean, it's certainly interesting. I mean, I like how it drives the day-night cycle, like you were saying. How it triggers everything, sets everything into motion. It's obviously a central piece of the story. It's got the little story spotlight marker on the card. I know that's where everybody's trying to go to try to fix the moon that got all screwed up since Emrakul is currely living there.
I still wonder if we're not getting Emrakul next set.
I don't think so. I think she's just hanging out. She's the reason, maybe not directly, but her being in the moon, I guess, is the reason that the moon's all messed up and the nights are getting crazy. So what happens when this Celestis thing goes off? We'll have to see in the story. Maybe Emrakul says, "Thanks for setting me free. Peace. I'm out," and just sort of plane shifts away. But I like how it gives you a little bit of incremental card advantage, or at least some looting, a little bit of life. Like you said, it triggers your transformations for things that are daybound and nightbound. I don't know how much play this will see, because 3-mana rocks typically don't see play in Standard, regardless of how weak it is. I mean, it has to do a lot of stuff. This does a lot of stuff, but I don't know. It's interesting for sure. The fact that it taps for a mana of any color is nice. So it's certainly a good idea. We'll see.
You'll see it in limited, definitely.
Yeah, probably in limited. Yeah, we'll see how things play out.
Well, let's do your next one here, because I love this card. I love this card.
So this next one is kind of a creepy nightmare thingy, because it's got like Nicolas Cage's face on it.
It does kind of. Oh my god, it's Face Off. Holy shit, that's John Travolta underneath it.
So this card is Grafted Identity. It's a aura. It's an enchantment. It's rare. 2 and 2 blue. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, which is where I'm guessing the other face comes from.
Yes.
Enchant creature. You control enchanted creature, and enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Now, back in the day, control magic didn't have all those extra riders attached to it. You didn't have to sacrifice an additional creature in order to do this. You just stole the damn thing.
Right.
This one steals it, and apparently the face gives you a boost. So, other than the art being nightmare fuel, I think this is just a solid card. I mean, I don't know how much play this will see in Standard. I really don't.
Oh, I think it'll see a lot. I think it's a great. It's for 4. I mean, how often did Agent of Treachery see things on turn? Because we could get it on turn 4. It's Agent of Treachery.
Yeah, but also Agent of Treachery could steal lands.
Right. I think this will absolutely see some play.
Maybe Fringe, maybe sideboard play in a dedicated control deck that doesn't have a lot of other creatures.
Okay, that much I get.
But the biggest reason why I grabbed the card, because 1, the art is terrifying.
Yeah.
And 2, it's just I think it's a very powerful card. I think again this is a limited bomb.
Yeah.
This is, if you open this card in your sealed pool in the pre-release, or you are opening packs for draft and you see this card, this is a card that you take. Theft effects are very powerful, because it's like a 2-for-1 built in, because you're basically removing their best creature and getting it yourself. And if you're lucky, you're spending less mana to do that, than they did to cast the spell originally. Now, yes, you have to sacrifice a
Holy
creature.
shit! It's Richard Garfield.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, go to Google Image, look up Richard Garfield. It's fucking Richard Garfield. I'm not even kidding you. I am not even kidding. That's Richard goddamn Garfield.
Because the card has so many the set has so many graveyard shenanigans going along with it, with the disturb and everything else, sacrificing a creature is not going to be that big of a deal. But yeah, it's a cool card. Just the art is just creepy.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I am telling you, you need to look up Richard Garfield. I'm not even kidding you. I think that's supposed to be Richard Garfield on the face.
I'll look later.
All right, well, hold on a second, because you know what? Here's what we're doing. This is happening. This is happening right now. You need to refresh your page. I added it.
Oh, it's already on the next slide.
Like, those of you in chat, I'm telling you what, that looks like Richard Garfield. Oh, I'm sorry if you're not watching on the feed. Yeah, are you seeing it now, Aramis? Am I wrong?
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
Nope.
All right. Well, you don't see the picture, or you just don't see the resemblance?
I don't see it. I don't see the resemblance.
Okay. I'm saying look above the lip. Has that thing there. His nose is very similar. His eyes are kind of the same shape. I'm telling you, they took his face off. I think that's supposed to be Richard Garfield. Just my thinking. All right, moving on. I'm going to talk about Sarah at the Vampire's Fang, or the Viper's Fang. It's 2 green, 2 colorless. Legendary creature, human warlock. I love this card. I absolutely love this card. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. So what it's saying, and then for 1 colorless and tapping, you can untap another target creature or land you control. This card does quite a bit, and I can see why it exists, and it definitely hangs with my more aggro sensibilities in that I love the idea that if I'm attacking, my Hexproof shit becomes Death Touch. And I love that if I'm not attacking with it, it's hexproof. You better wipe the board. And that if you go to target it with an instant, I can pay 1 to untap it. This card is really good, I think, and for being only a 4 CMC, it's a 4 CMC or 4 mana value for a 3/4. But you'd never attack with this because you want to make sure you can untap something to make it hexproof. I gotta assume, like, it's almost an enchantment.
Yeah, but she's not hexproof herself. I think that hurts a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't think they would have wanted to make this hexproof.
Oh dear God, no.
But there's plenty of ways to make copies.
Yes, in Commander, especially, I do believe this will see play in Commander because that's a useful little thing. So
yeah. Giving your team Death Touch makes blocking a lot more difficult, especially when Trample gets involved.
Yeah. So I definitely I think this will definitely see play in Standard. And again, the art is, oh my gosh, that's creepy. She's wrapped a python around her and it's a human.
Well, no, the snake is next to her face.
No, dude, it's wrapped around her. It starts at the bottom of her foot, it goes up around her back, and then comes up over her shoulder, and then, it's wrapped around her.
Yeah, she's in control of it.
Yes. Still nightmare fuel, as you said.
And you must not like snakes.
Not a big fan.
That explains it. I'll get you a snake for your birthday.
You son of a bitch. All right, moving on. Let's talk about one of your faves.
So the last card I'm going to be talking about today is Lisa, Forgotten Archangel. And if I remember my Innistrad lore correctly, again, I didn't play in any of the first 2 sets, so I've had to go back and read about it from other sources. I guess there were 4 Archangel sisters on the plane already, each of them tied to one of the colors of mana, and then also all having white. So there was Sigarda, Grisella, Bruna, and then
Lisa.
Lisa was the 4th one. And then I guess Sorin created Avacyn to sort of oversee all of the rest of them and sort of help protect the humans. And I guess Avacyn didn't like Lisa because she was willing to work with demons to try to get things done. And I guess she killed her and all of her angels.
Wow.
Apparently she didn't do a good enough job because here she is.
Right.
So Lisa, Forgotten Archangel, is a legendary angel for two white and a black. She's a 4/5. She has flying and lifelink. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So your cards sort of have a little bit of wrath protection. Not her necessarily, but the other creatures you control.
Right.
And then if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. So not only does your wraths exile the board, because it's a replacement effect, your opponent doesn't get any death triggers either.
Right.
Because it's never touching their graveyard. This is, again, having to
it's
shift
commander
a little bit more towards commander. This is a great commander.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is a good commander. If there's a way you can give her indestructible and you're playing like Wrath Tribal, I mean, that's just keep exiling people's boards. And then, I mean,
Which you have a deck that does this.
I have a deck that does this. So she may find a home in Athreos.
May find a home in Athreos or may replace Athreos. Because you can get her out you can get her out a shit ton quicker.
1 mana.
Huh?
It's only 1 mana cheaper.
Yeah, but she's a creature when she comes out as opposed to let me wait.
Yeah, but Athreos is already indestructible, and I can put a coin counter on her.
True. So I like this card a lot too. I'm not sure. I think the cost will be prohibitive for standard, but I think she will see play. She definitely be a finisher.
She's a gigantic limited bomb, by the way.
Right. Oh yeah.
Flying lifelink is disgusting.
Oh my gosh! Next week we have to do our goddamn pre-release primer. Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You open her in your sealed. Find a way to play white black.
Yeah.
And white black is chock full of removal anyway. So there you go.
So, my last card is another angel. So, this one is interesting. It's definitely one of the it's one of the daybound, nightbound cards. It's Enduring Angel / Angelic Enforcer. So
this one's not daybound, nightbound.
Oh, it isn't. It's just transform. You're right.
Yeah, this one's just transform.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I like this card a lot. So she's 3 white, 2 colorless. And it has flying and double strike. It says you have hexproof, meaning the player, me. If your life total would be reduced to 0 or less, instead transform Enduring Angel and your life total becomes 3. Then if Enduring Angel didn't transform this way, you lose the game. So in other words, oh shit. So Celestis, wait, no, yeah, okay.
Wouldn't work with this.
Okay, good. Yeah, so it doesn't have daybound, nightbound. Okay.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that makes this pretty shitty. And then the other one is flying. You have hexproof. Angelic's power and toughness are each equal to your life total. Whenever Angelic Enforcer attacks, double your life total.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I like that a lot. I think when you put in the book there from, what do you call it? That this might have been the interaction they were thinking. Like this here this helps a lot.
Yeah, you'd have to find a way to protect her though.
True.
That'd be the biggest issue. I mean, obviously triple white, you're not splashing this. This is white.
What your deck is for, yeah. You might go mono white, you might go green white and throw Seraph in, sure. But yeah. To get it hexproof, but it's still a tough find. I think this is like a mono white finisher more than any, which is weird because mono white's usually life gain. So this might stay at 3/3. So swinging in for 6 though, flying is nothing to sneeze at.
Well, I mean, find a way to give it lifelink.
Yeah. So
because what'll happen is if it loses double strike, but if you transform it, you're at 3. It's a 3/3. You give it lifelink. It attacks for 6 because it doubles your life total, and then it deals 6 damage, and you gain 6 life. So all of a sudden, it's a 12/12. The next time you attack, it's attacking for 24.
Right.
and then it deals 24 damage. You go up to 48. And the next time you attack with it, it is attacking for 96.
Right.
So if basically it's one of those cards, you give it lifelink and some modicum of protection. If your opponent doesn't deal with this, they're dead very fast.
Right.
So it's a very powerful.
I don't even think it needs lifelink because whenever it attacks, it doubles your life total.
Yeah, but this will double your life total twice a turn.
Ah, yes.
So it doubles it, and then because since its life total is equal, the power is equal to your life total, and it has lifelink. However much damage it deals, you're going to gain that much life, which becomes your life total, which becomes its power.
Yeah. So
I think they added, because I remember, I do remember Saffron Olive talking about this card, and I agree with him. He thinks they added that transform rider to protect against transforming shenanigans.
Right.
So,
Which makes sense because
yeah, because it can't transform.
Well, mist, whatever the mist thing is. Yeah.
Well, it's not a human, so it wouldn't affect that anyway.
Okay. Yeah, but it's definitely worthwhile. I'm definitely loving it. So those are kind of the 6 cards we had to go over tonight. Looking at this, Aramis, what do you think of the set?
I like it so far.
Okay.
There's still mythics that they haven't previewed. I mean, there's a Teferi Planeswalker floating around. I haven't seen that yet.
Right. Well, they showed the art. They just didn't tell you what it does.
Yeah. The question is going to be: Is he going to be mono blue like he was the last time he showed up? Is he going to go back into Azorius colors?
I think he's going to go Azorius, and it looks like Chandra. You said you saw art with Chandra on it.
Yeah, there's a card with Chandra's art, and I think there was another card that had Kaya in the flavor text. So the Gatewatch is apparently here. It's not just Teferi and Arlen and Ren and 7 floating around. I know Sorin is going to be there because I think there's another card that has flavor text talking about him fighting Sigarda.
Which is a whole lot. I mean, they may not make them planeswalkers, right? They could bring them in as legendary creatures.
They are planeswalkers, so they have to be planeswalker cards.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean they show up in the set. They like Sorin will probably show up in the next set,
right? Because that makes sense because of vampires. Maybe Kaya
and Chandra might be in the next set. If Chandra shows up at all, she would be in the next set. But it looks like from the Gatewatch, there's 3 members of the Gatewatch there. There's Teferi, there's Chandra, and there's Kaya.
Right. And they've already shown Arlen and Ren and 7, so I can't imagine they're going to have too many more. And then they told us about Teferi.
Yeah, those are the only 3 planeswalkers in this set.
Yeah.
That we know. I don't feel like they're going to have more than 3. But
right.
I know that they said there's these 3 for sure, and it didn't feel like there was going to be more than that. If there are, we'll see what happens.
Right. So, but that's that. Let's get right into combat in main 2 because we've still got a lot to go over as far as the winter box.
Combat phase.
We don't have a combat phase.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Well, thank you, Alexa.
Main phase.
All right, so we have a new champion for 1 week. I don't know if you guys caught our broadcast on Friday, but Aramis and I went through and we did the last of the winner box. We actually played the games, showed the games off, and analyzed most of the 3rd and 4th round. But Jay Grow won out in the end, playing against somebody. I want to say he was playing
He played against Mono White.
Yeah. And it was an interesting game. Hold on, I can pull it up here. He was playing D-Spoons, that's right. So and he had a good deck. He was playing a
Sultai Ultimatum.
Yes, that's right. So it was a very interesting night. It was a good time. I was very happy with that. Apparently my Twitch is going to put sounds through for some reason. But I was really very happy to see how that came down. But our Dragon King, our next winner box, we're announcing it tonight. So first, again, thank you to everybody. If you didn't know, what we did was for this, as a celebration of Throne of Eldraine's exit, we decided to make this one. This was a standard, traditional, but no ban list. So best of 3 standard, no ban list, which turned out to be pretty good. I mean, you saw Oko. Yeah, Oko everywhere. Oko was
everywhere.
Yeah, Omnath everywhere.
Burrow was everywhere.
Once Upon a Time. Here's the thing: not many people played Once Upon a Time, but those that did went farther. Like there is something to Once Upon a. There were certain things that later on when things slow down after Innistrad, both the Innistrads really, we should analyze that because there is some things there. Except I got rid of all the deck lists. Like it seems like those with Once Upon a Time seem to go further, which makes sense that Once Upon a Time was really straightening and helping green.
Once Upon a Time was probably one of the most, as subtle as it is, it was one of the most egregious cards that they printed because it was free.
Yeah.
And how many times do we have to teach them this lesson that free spells are usually bad?
And I mean, I've been able to cast it in Commander, 100 card deck. I've cast it at least twice in a couple of decks because
when you're not casting Soul Ring, you're casting Once Upon a Time.
Fuck off. I might take a free mulligan, man. Don't blame me for mulliganing down appropriately. So, but definitely so we were very excited for that, but we went back to the well because we do like to kind of do a standard historic for the winner boxes. To those of you that were on the patron call, and they mentioned cockatrice, we are not going to go to cockatrice. Two reasons, really. First of all, the learning curve as far as trying to organize a tournament through it and getting people to play, I don't know how it plays and how well it goes, and it's a lot of text. But secondarily to that, cockatrice is not an official Wizards sanctioned product. And so running a tournament through that, I'm not sure what that does to, because Kerwin's is our sponsor. Kerwin's are the ones who fulfill that game box. I don't want to put Kerwin's in a position where they're endorsing a non-Wizards tournament product. So I didn't even want to ask. Aramis and I kind of talked about it. We just were kind of like, we're just going to stay in officially Wizard stuff. Does that mean we won't go to MTGO one day? No, but it's probably likely we're going to stay in Arena because, again, the cost of entry into MTGO is real world money too. That being said, we are ready to announce that, we have, we are doing this winner box thing again. We're going to keep doing it every standard set. So what we've come up with for this next set, which we're announcing tonight, is we are playing historic 100 card brawl. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, first of all, we're doing it a little differently. Okay, we are aware of the issues with Arena and Shuffler. We are aware of the issues with Arena and Mana Screw, Mana Flood. Now, historic brawl does not allow for sideboards. It does not allow for wish boards, and we're not going to change that. However, historic, we are going to go ahead then still and do a best 2 out of 3 for these matches. So you will get, it's a bracket style again. We are capping it this time, not at 64, but at 32. I may go to 64 next time because of the box topper. I don't think we're going to have any problems filling a 64 tier tournament, but I could be wrong. This one, we're going to go with 32. 32 slots. Right now, I haven't even taken a look, but I think 12 people have signed up already. Okay. So, let me check here. Let me pull that up. But in any event, yes, 13. Holy shit, we're already 13. So, much like our winner boxes, you're going to register through the Discord. Yeah, you have to go through the Discord, Dragon King, which is at discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. You're going to go in through the tournament, log in there. If you have trouble, ask us. It is 100 card brawl. Now, Aramis and I, on live, we're going to do this right here, right now, because we haven't had a chance to talk. We have kind of realized as well that 100 card brawl could also have problems in as far as, I don't want to say fairness, but I don't want to see 100. I don't want to see 32 like sliver decks, or what's running away with brawl right now?
Golos, 5-color good stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know, Aramis. What do you think? Is there any limitations we should put on card base right now? I haven't opened up deck lists because I didn't want people to put in deck lists yet.
I don't think anything is a big enough problem currently to institute house bans. I mean, I have my own issues with brawl, but those are my issues with brawl.
Like we could say no planeswalkers. I can get behind that.
I mean, it's.
I'm
that's
sorry,
my-
with
that's my
Modern
biggest-
Horizons, there's enough legendary creatures. We could say no planeswalkers
There
as
are
far
enough,
as
there are
commanders.
enough legendary. There are enough legendary creatures out there. I mean, but that's my biggest problem with Brawl.
Right.
Is the
And this is our tournament, so if we want to
Yeah.
make a house rule that says, hey, and again, like we did
But
with
I'm
the
not-
ban list, the no ban list, for us, it's kind of like, I want to see what it would be like if this wasn't a thing. Like we said, we wanted to see what standard would look like if we used what Wizards designed. And we discovered Oko is Broco. But
Well, I mean, yeah, we kind of
knew
knew
that,
that was going to be. Yeah,
it's up
I
to you.
don't-
I mean, I'm good either way because we're not playing. So
yeah. I don't think we should. I don't think we should do that. I think as big of the problem as I have with planeswalkers as commanders, there are some planeswalkers that are less abusive than others.
Dragon
as
King, feel free to drop it right
as
in
a
the chat.
commander.
Yes.
And Will has a question.
Yes, Will, I
Yeah,
have a
Dragon
question.
King.
I don't.
But-
but he didn't capitalize it. I don't know, Dragon. Will you?
And because like the Kinnan decks are disgusting. The Golos decks are disgusting.
Right. The
The,
Sliver deck is not terribly
deck's-
undisgusting.
The Sliver decks
Oh,
is a Sliver deck.
Absolutely, Dragon. And we would want you to record it and give it to us so that we can.
I mean, Turgrid's gross.
Yes.
Um,
Turgid is gross.
you can. There's a lot of different decks in there that you can make absolutely disgusting. Teferi Hero of Dominaria is a gross one. Baral is legal in that one, so it's. But
So I think we're going to see enough decks to where we don't have to make a rule then.
There'll
what
be
you're saying.
there should be some variation. I mean, Zakama is very viable in this. As long as it's as long as you don't.
I wouldn't honestly. A part of me wanted to be like, there was a part of me that wanted to say like, no. Here's the deal: sign up early, because the minute a commander is taken, you can't use that commander.
That would be interesting.
Allegedly,
that would be
maybe
interesting
next
play.
time. Maybe next time we say, all right, you call your patrons first. Aha, become a patron.
So you sign up and call dibs on what
On the commander.
you want to use. I like that idea.
Do I think we could do it now? No, because we have 13 people already signed up. But the next time we do Historic Brawl, I could because especially if we see like 15 Golos decks, I'm going to be like, fuck.
Dragon King, the card limit for Historic Brawl is now 100. So it's basically it's commander. But the only difference is that with Brawl, you can use a Planeswalker as your commander.
And there's
any
no
Planeswalker.
It's 30 life or 25 life.
25 life.
And there's no commander damage. No,
And no commander damage. But everything else, it's exactly like commander.
It's really fun. I like it. I do. I wish I had thought of that. Oh fuck! I wish I had thought of that.
Yeah, for the next one.
Yeah, because
I mean, there's nothing that says we can't do
Historic Brawl
again
twice. Yeah.
For Midnight Hunt or for Crimson Vow. Oh boy, he knows what he's gonna build.
All right. Yeah. Come on, dude.
So-
Don't make it interesting. All right. If you're gonna stream it, don't be doing Golo shit. All right. I had to say this when we did the standard thing, and I was like, "Dear God, stop with the rogue decks."
I mean, I think one of the biggest problems in Arena right now is Field of the Dead.
Yeah.
I think the 5-color good stuff decks that play Field of the Dead, I think those are the ones that I'm hoping Wizards does something about that soon. But
the ban list is the ban list, and if they like we do with this, I'll update the rules tomorrow, like we did with this.
I like it.
Oh, I like that a lot. Like we did with this, I will go ahead and I'll update the rules. I'll say, and if the ban list changes, if they put a ban release out, which I guess they did a ban today for Pauper, but if they put a ban release out, then you get to make it switch. We're going to use Wizards' ban list for this. So, all right, I'm cool with that then. So it is. This is one.
I was just looking. They haven't updated.
I read somewhere they were going to update. They were going to do a BNR for Pauper.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a BNR for Pauper. I was just looking at I was trying to find the historic ban list. Like, there's no official one.
Kyle, here's the thing. You really want some cards to use? Play in the Jumpstart event. Just keep queuing up in Jumpstart and lose, but you get cards. And you only need one. So that's why I love this. It's Singleton. So All right, so that's what it's going to be. It's 100 card. At this point, we have no in-house ban list. We are using Wizards ban list. It's 2 of 3, so you will challenge, and then challenge again if you go 1-1. You have 1 week from your round starting to play. It's whenever you get a chance, and you have to go through our Discord. So what you want to do is go into discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. On the left-hand side, one of the channels is Innistrad Midnight Hunt Win-A-Box Tournament. You'll go into the lobby, you'll do ! Register, and boom, you're in. I got to take the dice out of there because it found a dice thing. Somebody did an exclamation. They're like, what the hell is this? All right. Definitely want you guys to check that out. It's worthwhile if you're listening to this in the podcast, in your car. Again, discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. If you can't get to it for some reason, reach out to us. Reach out to me. I check my email all day. So
real quick, I found the band list, the current band list for the historic brawl.
Okay.
So currently the cards that are banned in
Teferi Hero or
100 card
Teferi
brawl
Time Raveler
are Channel, Demonic Tutor, Draneth Magistrate, Gideon's Intervention, Lutri the Spellchaser,
both make sense.
Meddling Mage, Natural Order, Nexus of Fate, Oko Thief of Crowns,
Oh, that's
Rune
right.
Halo, Sorceress Spyglass, Tainted Pact, and Teferi Time Raveler.
By the way, I think Sorcerer's Spyglass is stupid. Should not. What? Oh, and no Crimson Vow cards, right? Same rule as always.
Yeah, because Crimson Vow's not out yet.
Right, but I mean, if we're not going to start this till next Monday, it could show up that yeah, deck list needs. So if we can get filled up, we'll be ready for next Monday. Deck lists, Dragon. Here's how it works. When you register, when I see you register, I go in and create you a deck list channel that only you, me, and Aramis can see. You'll place your deck list in there. We'll look at it for stuff like that. It's unlocked until we lock it, and then once we get everybody signed up, once we know everybody's signed up, I'll lock the deck lists. I'll have the tournament brackets created, and then we go. So you have until then to change it. Please, everybody, one thing: do not take a screenshot. Okay, it's a pain in the ass for us to read through the screenshots. Some people do it. Some people use their phone. Arena has an export function. Export it. Paste it into Discord. It'll be 100 cards. You might have to do 2 entries. But that is the better way to do it so that Aramis and I can see the deck lists, see what sets they're from, see the numbers a lot easier than something like that. But we will be using their ban list. But deck lists will be due before we play. But other than that, it's pretty much it. So, again, discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. We would love to start by next Monday. I'm not sure if we can get 32 in a week, but I'll start putting out things. And if I could get it filled 32 in a week, we'll get it filled. And we'll roll next Monday. So, because usually, oh my God, Aramis. Yeah, well, we might roll next Monday, but you and I won't be able to go over the deck lists until the week after, unless we're just not going to deal with next week's show is going to be huge.
You can do the first half is pre-release, second half is deck lists.
Yeah, but deck lists always take us a while. If it's 32, if we have to go over 32, it'll just be a long show. Fuck it. We don't care. All right. So on that note, let's, unless you got anything else.
Nope.
All right. Me neither. So as Aramis and I are rolling up our play mats, putting our cards back in their boxes, taking the pizza boxes over to the trash, because damn it, your mother still does not work in this video store. Shit. Game store. I was going with 80s icons for a while, and I forgot to say game store. We want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream all of our content. Just go to Twitch, look up PlanesTalkers Podcast. You'll see every show we do, which is this one and Commander Craft. You'll see anything. I tend to stream games. I try to stream at least once or twice a week, whether it's Arena, whether it's Minecraft, whether it's DCU Online, whether it's Farming Simulator 2019.
Nothing needs to be said.
Just go there and check it out. You can also follow me on Twitch at Mindcrime73. So, and that's that.
Yep. And if you want to interact with the show in a more real-time fashion, like everybody here right now is chatting on Twitch, but if you wanted to chat with us through our Discord, You can access our Discord at discord.planestalkerspodcast.com. You need to be registered in our Discord in order to play in any of our Winnabox tournaments. So
Because
if
Discord,
you're-
and we're not trying to be dicks about that, folks. We use a tournament bot that organizes it for us because I used to do it manually, and my God, it saves me like days. So
yeah,
again,
So
I'm not trying to be a dick, and many people, just come and hang out.
it's for logistical reasons, and in any event, it's a great community. So you're not losing out. And if
No.
if you only want to register for the tournament and then leave after that, that's fine too.
But we'll probably be going right into Crimson Vow, so I doubt they will.
Yeah, so stick around. People are nice here. They don't bite. They've had most of their shots, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow, that's not a good joke to make now.
And if Twitter is more your speed, you want to follow us that way. We generally tweet when we're going live. We might tweet when there's something else big going on that we want to get out right away. Either way, at PlanesTalkerPod on Twitter.
And my personal Twitter is at WR Benson. I don't tweet all that often. I tend to just follow people, like Betty White's nude photos. I'm just a huge fan. And of course, you can always follow us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/PlanesTalker. Their PlanesTalkers wasn't available. There was some airplane guy. So we took that last S off and we gave it to you for savings. And like and follow our page. Don't forget as well, we do have a playcast we do on Wednesday nights where we play Paper Commander live with you listeners. We have 3 slots open right now, 2 for patrons until tomorrow morning, and then it's wide open. So to sign up there, just go to our Discord and tell us you want to play. We'd love to have you, or just email me if you don't want to get into the Discord. We'd love to have you there, although you have to be on our Discord to play because that's where we do the voice. Tune into all of our channels Wednesdays around 7 Eastern to play with us and watch us play slivers this week. Sorry.
You good?
Dude, I did the Tainted Pack Thassa's Oracle. I still feel pretty good about that.
Anyway, so if you want to send us an email to the show, there are 3 email addresses you can use. The first email address goes to both of us. We both see it. It's podcast@planestalkerspodcast.com. If you want to email one of us individually, you can email Will. His address is will@planestalkerspodcast.com.
And talk about how
If you want
awesome
to-
slivers are.
If you want to email me, you can use aramis@planestalkerspodcast.com.
And on that note, we want to thank you guys for listening to this episode of the PlanesTalkers podcast. We will be back Wednesday night with Commander Craft, where we will be playing you listeners, and then we will be back next Monday, starting hopefully our Winnabox tournament as well as your pre-release primer. So for Aramis Perez, this is Will Benson saying again, thanks for listening, thanks for being a part of the show, and we want to remind you to keep some of your mana untapped because you never know when you'll need it. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye. Yeah, I probably shouldn't bring up the whole, Tainted Pact into Thassa's Oracle WinCon. I just thought it was funny to be able to pull that off just once. Are you there?
You said it was 113, right?
Yeah, it's episode 113.
It's exporting.
Yeah. What are you playing this week?
Comma.
You son of a bitch. Actually, that's a deck that could kill me. That could kill me quick.
Yeah. Don't bother with the little soundboard bumper when I announce it either.
Oh, what? The Jurassic Park one?
Yeah.
Why?
There's no reason.
Yeah. Did you change it?
No, what? 2 or 3 cards.
Oh, okay.
Just updating it with stuff that's just some of the new stuff that's come out. I haven't updated it since I built it, so it's the first update I've ever done.
Right. It's great. It's still a great deck. It's hard to beat. But yeah, we don't have no patrons have signed up yet.
Audacity says something about dropouts, so just keep that in mind when you see my audio.
What's that? You dropped out?
That's what my Audacity said. There were dropouts.
Well, that's not good. I'll take a listen. Worst comes to worst, I'll grab the audio from Facebook or from Twitch. So
Said it was competing with competing for processor time, which I don't think is really possible.
It's possible, but it's not likely.
I've never seen that before.
Usually, I mean, it could have been because we were looking at, the, what do you call it? The Google spreadsheet, and you had Docs open, but, I mean, I don't know why that would do it. It's
That
possible,
shouldn't
though.
take up that much memory.
No, it shouldn't, but, shit goes sideways once in a while.
It's in the box, but it's doing the upload thing, so it should be
Yeah.
there in a minute.
So, yes, welcome to the post-game show. So,
All the technical stuff.
all the technical stuff. And then I clicked the link just to see if it comes up. It didn't. Oh, okay, there it goes. Yay. It worked. Okay. So the link in Twitch works. Good. It's like, dude, it's at the bottom. Put the link in the chat. It's at the bottom. Right under our image. I mean, the Patreon's on top of it because, well, But yeah. I might be redesigning how we look. I don't know. I kind of like the background and stuff, but it might be time for a redesign. I still want to get a good logo. I want a new logo. So
You know that you can get custom shield sleeves from Dragon Shield now.
really,
You can put whatever you want on it.
how much are they?
So you
though?
can do, I don't know, but you can do PlanesTalkers sleeves. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Just,
Custom
Patreon.
Dragon Shield. Well, I
Or
mean, we still
dragonshield.com.
gotta send out the freaking playmats, but it's one thing after another here at the L. Benson house. The car is bad. My teeth are bad. And the electric company, don't even get me started.
Go to dragonshield.com. There's something called
$24.99. Holy shit, that's not bad. Oh, dude, we might have to do that. I might do that. I might do that for us this month.
But I'm talking about the patrons.
I want to do it for the patrons too, but we have to test it first. Because if it's shitty sleeves, I'm not sending it to them.
No, it's Dragon Shield.
It's possible they're still shitty.
It's the Dragon Shield matte art sleeves.
Yeah.
They're good sleeves.
Oh man,
I hate your deck's been doing it for their guests. They've been handing them those sleeves, so they're Dragon Shields. So
I hate your deck is kind of becoming one of my little faves. I mean, it's kind of broken.
Well, it's game nights is geared more towards
Yeah.
polish and production value.
Yeah,
and
game
more
nights is
beginners.
and it's kind of turning into. I hate to say it, it's kind of turning into the WWE a little bit. It's like, oh, Post Malone is here. I wonder who's going to win. Oh, Joe Manganiello's here. I wonder who's going to win. Oh, Clay is here. I wonder who's going to win. Like, you've had 3 special guests, and 3 special guests have won. I'm like,
They're also sponsored by Wizard of the Coast.
yeah. So it's kind of I can't help sitting there going though. It's like if you do that
good.
too
I
many
still
times.
super enjoy watching that.
Oh, me too. But it's still like, because I'm sorry. I not that I think Jimmy should win, but I definitely think Josh has skills, like in monstrously good skills. But
I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't try to go too deep into analyzing the things that I enjoy. So if I think it's entertaining, great. If it ends up being terrible but I still enjoyed it, that's all that matters to me.
True. Oh, I love the show. And usually their decks you feel like you can play. So that's what I do like. Like the I hate your deck, it's like, yes, I wish I had these, getting
Well, they play with the dual lands and stuff
Yeah.
on game nights, so that's not like
They don't play with dual lands on game nights, do
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Oh, yes, they do all the time. I've seen plenty beta badlands out there.
That's true. So, is your stuff in the Dropbox yet?
It should be in there, yeah.
I'm just gonna take a look and yeah, I'm thinking we're already at 14, man. We should fill 32 easy. I haven't even sent it out to I'll probably do that on Wednesday. I'll send it out to the Facebook groups and stuff on Wednesday and Reddit. Although, like I said, I sent it to Reddit. They're like, "Oh, why are you doing a ban list and not doing a ban? Why can't we play AFR cards?" I don't know, because I don't want you to. Shut up. Get in a free box.
Anyway,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
post show stuff, guys. That's
Yeah,
all
post show's allowed. I'm allowed to be negative on post show. Nah, but it was good. This was a pretty good episode too, actually, tonight. So, I like the I do like doing the whole, card stuff. I mean, I wish we could do more. It seems like card preview season's like super short this time.
Well, they had to make room for the next set to be previewed.
No shit. Well, they could have done it a week early. I think they should have gone a week earlier, but.
No, but didn't something else just come out before that?
They did the whole like roadmap.
Yeah, but when did Yeah, because AFR just came out, and then Modern Horizons 2 came out, and now this set's coming out, and the Crimson Vow's right behind it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe when it's card release, like, if we can, maybe we shift Monday to Tuesday on release day. When we know that they're going to put a Twitch stream out on Tuesday, maybe we move our show to Tuesday, because that buys us another week, because then we would have done Tuesday with what they showed us, and then had tonight to kind of round it out. I don't know. Because in essence, we have 1 week of previews, and then you and I are doing, pre-release primer, and then deck lists. Yeah. So, it feels kind of like, we could be doing. It feels like we're not giving enough. I don't know. That's just me though. Patreon. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm using my second account on my TV over here. So I've got my old laptop is hooked over here. So, and it's hooked to a television that I use for the fourth monitor, and it's how I was running the show Friday. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is my second one. I'm like, who posted a Patreon? Did we have somebody sign up? So, all right. Well, I think that's it. I think we got a show. I mean, we'll be back on Wednesday, right? All right. Oh, good. Hippofam's in. Spawnimal Jorotha. Rama's a new person. I don't know Rama. Shanisha came in and then unregistered. X-Golt. Vervamont. We've got new people. Holy cow. We got a lot of new people. Like, people are throwing this out there. This is cool. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm totally down with this. Grunt, Double D, HP, Jagro. Jagro was the first one. It's like, yeah, this is good. All right. Well, and Vervamont unregistered. Well, you suck. I'm just kidding. You don't suck, Vervamont. All right, guys. We will be back on Wednesday. If you need anything, let us know. It's awesome to talk to you. Dragon, good luck. And yeah, I can see that you're getting registered, so that's cool.